Good evening. Good evening. My name is Keesha Hines, and you are watching the Firestarter Show. I am so excited to have with me the power couple team Jennings, Walter and Charmaine Jennings in the house. You know, every time I get these two on the show, I just feel like I don't even need to be here. They could totally just run this alone, and I could just sit back and have me a mocktail and just relax, and they can just run everything. So I appreciate you all being here. The topic tonight definitely is all up and in your wheelhouse, both of you individually. And I felt it would be robbery if I did not have you here this evening to discuss the power of love poems. So, Mr. Jennings, Mrs. Jennings, how you all feeling this evening? How y'all doing?
Well, thankful. It's been a journey today.
Yeah, doing really well. Thanks as always for the invitation. Obviously, the topic is one that's near and dear to our hearts. So yeah, we're excited to jump into it.
Yeah, man. You know, there's a really important celebration going on today. I just want to shout out my boo thing, my baby daddy, my boyfriend, my partner in not crime, partner in love, my partner in parenting, my husband. We are celebrating 16 years of marriage today, and I am so excited. You know, one of the things that I shared on social media today is that I am more in love with this dude today than I have been, I want to say, when we first got married. And that is just such a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a wonderful feeling. And you all have been married significantly longer than he and I. And I already know y'all's situation, but I just look at how valuable and how important marriage is, and looking around at other couples and them not being happy makes me so sad when they say that they don't have that love feeling, that they don't feel in love, or they feel disconnected. And I just, again, I know that's not your situation, it's not my situation, so we are going to try to give these people some help so that they can get the love back. So the first thing that we're going to dive into tonight is just talking about some marital issues that actually steal the love, because we know marriage is not easy. Okay, we know this, we know it's not easy. We know that it requires work, effort, energy, all of those things. And so if we are not putting in the work, then we have to automatically assume that we're going to have some challenges, right? If we're not doing the work. So in your expert opinion, which both of you are certified professional coaches, Walter, you're a counselor, I'm a coach, we're dealing with clients all the time, all around the world. But in you guys' experience, what are some of the main marital issues you've identified that actually steals the love from the marriage?
Well, one of the things that I can definitely say, and it shows up for people when we counsel them in a myriad of different ways, but it's really lack of prioritizing and time management. And so obviously, again, you fall in love, you get married, you both are striving to accomplish things professionally. You want to own, for a lot of couples, you want to own a home, you want children, you want to travel, you want to do all these things. And what can ultimately end up happening is that now you're ultimately working to keep those things. And now you're trying to find ways to actually come together and actually remembering that you are a husband and wife. And if you're not careful, you'll be in a place where you've got communication challenges, where you're not able to connect to one another. It's either early in the morning, one person's still trying to sleep, the other person is awake and vibrant, or late at night, one person trying to sleep and the other person vibrant. So it's really prioritizing and time management. So it's really imperative that when it comes to couples, that you always remain focused on your union and putting that first. Right after God, it's your partner. Right after God, it's your spouse. So ensuring that you keep that at the top of your priority list. Yes, you need your job. Yes, your children need you to make sure that you're supporting them in some of their efforts. Yes, you may have some entrepreneurial efforts that you want to have in place, but you want to be careful that, again, that you don't elevate those things above making sure that you and your partner are getting y'all time together.
Absolutely.
To add to that, I love the prioritizing and time management. One thing that I have found that will steal the love is when your I your identity, I want to say the intersection of the addition to your identity. And so I think when we add on to
Mm.
who we are, and our
Mm-hmm.
partner has to be introduced now to the mother, right? So you were my
Uh-oh.
girlfriend first, right? And now you became
Mm-hmm.
my wife, right? But now I'm having to say, okay, good morning, welcome to mom, right? And I'm having to learn, welcome to dad, right? And so we're adding all of these additional promotions in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship, right? And what happens when you don't like mama? And I don't like you and how you show up as daddy. Or I
Mm-hmm.
don't like how you're showing up as manager of our home. Maybe you manage
Mm-hmm.
the outside of the home. Maybe I manage the inside of the home. And I'm just not liking you as manager and partner of these bills and partnering and parenting. And so I think when we add all of these roles, not just domestic roles, but we add different roles to the partnership, and I think there can become a lot of conflicts. And the more additional roles we add, sometimes we can allow it to steal the love because now
Mm-hmm.
we're managing partners in this and managing partners in this. And if I'm having conflicts in how we manage because we're dealing with money, we're dealing with big decisions and things like that. And now where's the love? Because we just
Yeah.
two managers and now we have all these businesses going on. We got parenting business, we got, household business. And so I think that is something that we often allow to steal the love, in our ability to just balance those things.
Yeah. I'm thinking of an acronym, which, y'all know me. I love acronyms, right?
Yes.
And so as you were speaking, Charmaine, I was thinking about this acronym that I actually found online, and it's loss of valuable energy. It's an acronym for love, loss of valuable energy. And that kind of like irritated me at one point. 'Cause I'm like, what you mean loss? It's a negative word, but it's true, Charmaine. It's true because we love our children. We love being in these parenting roles because it's a blessing to have these kids. And we love our home and the fact that we have a home that we can manage, and we love our jobs. But each one of these things that you mentioned and more that you didn't mention, they they pull from our energy. We have to put energy into these different places. And so because of that, we are losing valuable energy as we're pouring into those places and spaces and people and situations, right? So it can truly cause a lot of conflict, as you said, in your marital situation, especially if the person is not happy
Mhm.
with some of that energy being taken away from them. So,
Absolutely.
powerful points for both of you. I'll just add on that if there's infidelity, that definitely can steal the love from the relationship. One of the biggest issues we know that most couples have, and I had it myself, I don't know about you all, but poor communication. When we're not talking to each other or we're not communicating effectively, that 100% can steal the love. If there is any type of addiction in a relationship, be it porn addiction or alcohol or drug addiction, any of those things, that can steal the love because obviously that impacts all of those areas that you talked about, Charmaine. And then absence of sex or lack of affection. We know that this 100% can steal the love. Now, Walter, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit. You're the only man here. I was trying to get mine to be here, but he's being daddy right now and and taking care of one of the kids. Had to shift his energy over there. But many men that I work with have told me that the way that they most comfortably express love to their spouses is through sex.
Mhm.
And how they show their love for their spouse ultimately, a lot of times, like I said, is through sex. So do you agree, sir?
Absolutely. I mean, it also again is a demonstration often of how we expect love to be expressed to us as well. So it's not necessarily a give to get, but it is a give to show as it relates
Mm,
hey,
Ooh,
this is,
say that again.
yeah,
That's
it's
a
not
t-shirt.
I
necessarily,
know, right?
it's not necessarily a give to get. I'm not giving it just because I'm trying to give it. I'm also giving to show, to demonstrate. One of the great things that Charmaine likes to say, which I completely agree with, is that you have to be the leader in the demonstration of exactly what it is that you want. So that is, again, even with when we talk about self-care and things of that nature, part of that is this idea of I am demonstrating and modeling to others what it is that I am expecting from them in the way that I treat myself and in the way that I go
Mm-hmm.
about navigating the world. So again, when it comes to sex for men, absolutely. This is part of how we express and show our love. It is also a part of, again, how we, again, are, what our expectation is for our spouses and partners as well.
Man, boy, you woo, you said something. I had to put that in the chat. Sex is not just a gift to get, but a gift to show. I love, 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 love that. And you know, Charmaine, I think for women, it's it's the opposite for us. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not, we're not looking for you to show your love for us through sex. No, we want conversation. We want to be
Yeah.
connected to you mentally and emotionally and spiritually, and then that's when the physical gets involved. So it's not that we don't enjoy sex or we don't want sex or we're not looking for sex or crave sex, but we want to be connected in those other areas. I think more so than we do the physical side of it. But okay, so we've talked about the some of the things that can steal the love, some of the things that can steal the love, and obviously there are other things as well, but these are just some of the top things that can actually steal the love. So now we want to talk about some ways that you can actually get the love back. Obviously our focus is on love poems, but you know, we want to make sure we are giving you multiple ways to get the love back, because we understand everybody's not going to be feeling the whole poem thing, the whole poetry thing or whatever. Wow, that's our jam, the three of us, but we understand that that's not how everybody moves. So there are some different things that you can do. So one of the things I absolutely love is surprises. Now here's the thing. I'm married to someone who does not like surprises. So as I'm trying to express love to him through surprises, it actually has been counterproductive. And I've had to accept that and receive the fact that that's not his thing, but it is mine. So what he has learned to do is give me surprises. And I'm like, I know not to go there with him. My way of showing love for him or giving him that love is he needs time alone. He needs to have time to decompress, to just be alone with his thoughts, learning more about his personality and how he recharges, because he is an introvert. And I understand introverts need alone time, they need isolation for them to recharge and get rejuvenated. So that's the way that I show him love, is by giving him space, not overcrowding him, not putting too many demands on him. But you have to learn your partner. You have to know what works for them. So for me, it's surprises, it's special date days or date nights, which we actually had today for our anniversary, and that makes me feel love. Romance is another thing that's huge for me. I remember I used to say many years ago that I was a hopeless romantic, and I stopped saying that, because when you say that you're a hopeless romantic, to me that means that you have no hope.
Right.
And
Mhm.
that's not what I'm trying to speak. Like, no, I'm going to have this in my life. So I am a hopeful romantic. And it definitely is something that we have to define individually, again, because my definition of romance is not the next person's. So those are things that I know have helped me in my relationship and have helped others that I know. So I want to swing over to you guys and see if there's anything that you have that would be ideas for how we can get the love back outside of our love poems.
I mean, I definitely think that I know for us and in our practice and what we do, one of them is, uh, well, we have what we call a never list, and so we definitely encourage our clients. The N in chosen stands for never say never, and so what we do is we create a never list, and so to explore our adventurous side, we, especially after you've been with someone for like 2 decades plus,
Yes.
right? And so the
Yes.
question becomes is, well, what haven't you guys done? Well, there's tons of things we haven't done, and so what we do is, we will eventually refresh that list. And I remember This summer we didn't get a chance to have a vacation, and so we had a staycation, and so we explored our never list. And so, we put some things on that list. It's, might be skinny. Maybe you've never skinny dipped before. you know Check, put that on the list. Maybe, you haven't ridden one of those electric bicycles or those scooters
Hmm.
before. We did that all around town. So really, to get that love back, sometimes you have to play. And
Yep.
so I'm just saying, play. What is on that never list that you haven't
Mhm.
done, that brings back excitement, that puts you back in the feet and the shoes of teenagehood, childhood, where you guys could just laugh and be silly and try new things and be vulnerable with each other.
Yeah, and we know that during COVID, there were so many couples and relationships that fell apart
Mm,
because again, you had individuals who were functioning and living together, but they had essentially grown apart.
yeah.
And now
Yes.
that work was no longer a distraction and you're in the same household, it's like, I don't even
Hmm.
like you anymore,
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
what we found is that for both of us, COVID and the pandemic actually brought us closer together because we started walking together. And
Same.
during those walks, it
Hmm.
really built the intimacy between us because we started having these conversations and some things began to come out and topics that we had never discussed before. And so we're getting the physical exercise
Hmm.
in, we're building that intimacy
Which
and that
which
connection with
helps,
yeah,
which helps
absolutely.
in the bedroom.
Absolutely.
Hello.
You can
Yeah.
breathe and you got the cardio.
Yeah, so we're getting the blood pumped up. We're having conversation. And we're
Yes.
also moving. We're
Hmm.
also physically moving and exploring the area and the neighborhood. And so, as an extension to what Charmaine mentioned, as far as with that exploratory intimacy and
Hmm.
being out of the box, being willing to do certain things together. I came up under the adage that you don't do business with your wife. You don't mix blood and business. And so
Right.
even that over the past couple of years, I've learned to allow myself to be more open to us doing business together, and it's worked out great. Again, it's allowed our relationship to deepen in that particular way.
Hmm.
So allowing again
Yes.
those some of those barriers to be broken down when it
Hmm.
comes to what Charmaine mentioned as it relates to some of the various titles that we may end up holding, allowing yourself to explore your partner in that way, looking at them from a different perspective, getting to know them as not just your wife, but as a woman, getting to know them as the mother of your children, getting to know her as a businesswoman, and really allowing yourself to explore all of those different sides and not being intimidated by them because you're limiting her to just the lens of your wife and your spouse, but allowing yourself to embrace all that she is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inviting each and every one of you to become Christopher Columbuses and Christina Columbuses, and not only explore your spouse mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, but explore them physically. I need you to turn the lights on. I'm trying to understand why we still in the dark, people. I need you to turn these lights on, and I need you to look at every single crack and crevice and explore that. So I know what you were talking about, Walter, but I'm just saying, don't
Mhm.
leave the physical part out. We want to explore each other in every one of those areas because we want to be connected in a way that we've never been connected before. That's how you build your union. That's how you strengthen your bond together. So I don't know why we make it difficult too. We make it very, very hard for some reason, and it doesn't have to be.
Mhm.
Literally, just preparing a meal together, or watching a movie together, or sending just a cute, quick text thinking about you, miss you, love you, whatever. It doesn't have to take all of that. But for some
Hmm.
reason in our mind, mentally, a lot of times we make it much harder than what it has to be. So I'm going to say we're going to take a quick break. Don't you swipe left or right. We will be right back. You're watching the Fire Starter Show. Do you or someone you know have a child with special needs, or as we like to call them, special abilities? If yes, please listen up. SNC 101 is here to the rescue. SNC 101, or Special Needs Community 101, is a welcome to the world of disabilities. This program assists new and veteran caregivers of children with special needs to overcome challenges they face on a daily basis. It will ignite the fire within and help you get back to you. You will get three-hour group sessions, three support messages, and a welcome packet with program materials.
Topics to be discussed are understanding, accepting, and navigating the diagnosis, self care, maintaining healthy relationships, and so much more. You do not want to miss this boot camp. As a caregiver, you truly are a warrior. You're a fighter. So use the QR code below to register today, soldiers. See you soon.
All right, all right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Listen, that boot camp is available year round. All you have to do is reach out. You can go to my website, lakeishahines.com, and you can get all the information that you need about programs and services for fire starters. And Walter and Charmaine Jennings have their own premarital program and so much more. They have arts infused therapy. So if you go to chosenlifespecialist.com, you can get information about them and how they can provide services for you, your friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, co-workers. And I need you all to make sure you like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel, and let everybody know about the Fire Starter Show. You know, this is something that helps everybody. There's something for everybody. So make sure you're sharing that information. And there's one other thing that I want to share with you all before we give you some more information about these love poems and getting the love back in your marriage. And it is the Phoenix Awards Gala that is coming up on October the 7th in Alpharetta, Georgia. We are celebrating all things love and marriage, and we're celebrating and honoring couples who have overcome challenges, obstacles. And again, it's just going to be a fun night of dancing, good food, good fellowship. You get to dress up. It's a black tie event. All you have to do is scan that QR code on the bottom left side of the screen, and you can get information about that. All right, so we're going to transition now into these love poems and how they actually can help to save your marriage. Maybe you have difficulty verbally communicating with your partner and expressing how you feel about them or what you think about them. Love poems actually can help you be able to express your love for your partner. And so now I'm going to pivot to the resident poets in the house and give you all an opportunity to talk about the power of love poems, because again, this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, so here's what I will say, and it probably may not be what you or the people that are listening want to hear. When it comes to love poems, right? Like, it's important to be real. So we're not talking about roses and chocolates and daffodils, and or when I first started writing, it was the Love Jones era where, you know, I drink your bath. We don't do that. Because part of no, I know I don't drink no bath water. I drank out the water hose when I was little. Sometimes I drink out of the faucet just to live a little bit. But
Wait. Are you saying roses are red, violets are blue? That won't get it. That won't.
I'm just
get it.
Hey, if you like it, I love it. But the bottom line is, we believe that love poems, they offer an opportunity for authenticity and honesty. So really talking about, again, where you are in your relationship, that, hey, we may have some problems. You roll over in the morning, your breath stank, your fist balled up. I'm not sure if my life was in danger during the night, but there is nobody else I would rather live in this dangerous, perilous situation with than you. It's being able to express that and be perfectly honest. And with Charmaine, ironically, with our story, when it comes to poetry, right? Poetry was something that we both individually came into our relationship with. So it was something that I built an individual connection to. It was part of me learning how to embrace and find my authentic voice, and the same thing with her. So part of what has bound us together is not this whole idea. When people think of love poems, they think of me writing poems for her and sending them to her, or her writing love poems and sending them to me. Sometimes it's her writing a poem expressing about where she is in life and sharing it with me. And I'm there as an audience member.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's me writing a new poem about something that may have necessarily nothing to do with love, but everything to do with what may be going on socially. A black man that's been gunned down in the street, a black woman that's been killed in jail, and sharing my heart with her. So again, that love is being able to share and be vulnerable with her with my thoughts and expressions in a form that I may not necessarily share with everybody.
Is poetry used as a form of intimacy,
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And so I really love his poetry, and a lot of his poetry, hardly none of his poetry is about me, right? It's about life and how he sees it. And so I literally get to 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 get closer to his heart when I'm able to hear his poetry. So it's extreme level of intimacy. It really, especially for men,
Yes.
men who write, and ladies, I'm going to tell you, um, encourage a man to write, and not that he only needs to be writing about, the erotica poetry. And there are poets out there who love erotica poetry and they talk about sex and things like that. But man, when your man speaks about the things that really gets him choked up, right? Um,
Yes.
and you can hear those things, man, it moves you closer to his heart, and what really matters to him, in a way for you to feel connected. And I'm gonna tell you, better than any erotic poem, honey, when you get to that place, yeah,
Yeah.
it takes you there, and it really bonds you guys a lot closer than just talking about what is gonna help, my private parts to climax, and vice
So
versa.
Ah,
so again, we want to free all of you
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are listening. We're going to free you, because again, there's somebody, when they saw the title of this show, it was like,
Oh,
yeah.
nah, I ain't
I
watching
ain't
that.
doing that. We
I
ain't
don't,
doing
I
that.
don't write no love poems. That's not what this is about. Again, and if that's how you express yourself,
yeah.
is if that's how you want to administer your art, absolutely.
Hmm.
But again, if you are a person that, hey, I write, but I keep these things to myself, it
Yeah.
may offer you an opportunity again to build your level of intimacy with your spouse or with your partner, by allowing them to peek us inside of some of your intrusive thoughts.
Hmm.
What what I was thinking of as you all were talking is, the artist formerly known as Prince.
Mhm.
God rest his soul.
I
The
know.
man had goo gobs of music, songs that nobody ever heard, right? No one ever heard. And he was famous for having these jam sessions in his house. And sometimes they would record and sometimes they wouldn't. But many times he would record these jam sessions, and it was just things that naturally, organically happened. And
Mhm.
you
Hmm.
had to be there. If
Yeah.
you were not there, then hey, you just missed it and you missed out or whatever. Michael Jackson was another one who had, goo gobs of music that none of us ever heard or will we ever hear. And what I was thinking about when you all were talking is that I'm sure there are poems that have been written that no one has ever heard. That
Hmm.
Walter's written poems that, Charmaine, you're the only ears that have heard those poems, and vice versa. And it gives you, as you said, when you said intimacy, I'm like, yes, this is a peek into each other's inner soul, inner being, inner thoughts, inner feelings and emotions. And I'm like, wow, how erotic could that be? And
Mhm.
again, as a woman, that's what we're looking for. We want to know what the heck is going on in that mind of our man. That's what
Yeah.
we want to know. What are you thinking? How are you feeling? And to be able to express that on paper, I think is just one of the best ways that we again can get that insight. So I love it. I love both of you guys' poetry. I've heard so much of it, and I love that there's some similarities and some things that you all do, but you're very different in
Hmm.
terms of how you write and even in the way that you perform. So I love being able to get that front row seat. But to Walter's point, this is not about you becoming a poet,
Mm-mm.
because you may have never written a poem in your life. You may have no desire to do that. Well, guess what? There are people who've already done it. And I do believe that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can go to the library and check out poems. You can Google poems. You
Yep.
can order books online that have love poems, and you can find a poem that resonates with you. Find a poem that expresses how you feel about your partner and share that with them. Read it to them. Have that intimate moment where you just, hey, sit down, I just want to say something to you, and read this poem to your partner. Or it's something that you can send via text. It's something that you can send in an email, which will completely surprise them, especially if it's something that you've never done before. So the whole idea is to give you another way to express your feelings
Mhm.
and to express your passion for your partner. And there are multiple ways that you can go about doing it. So, when I think about love as a whole, and I'm thinking about these poems, and I told you I love these acronyms, right? Another acronym for love is to listen, observe, value, and embrace.
Mm.
And when I think about these poems, we're listening to the person's heart. We're observing things from their perspective as they're writing this poetry. We're hearing what is valuable to them, and we're embracing whatever their perspective is or whatever their viewpoint is. And to me, love can be defined multiple ways, but this is just one way. And I think that that can be delivered so eloquently through a poem. So I just want to say thank you to both of you so much for being here. I can't believe our time is up already. But time flies when you're having fun. And I just want to say, be willing to be unconventional. Be willing to step outside the box and try something new. Do you all have any closing thoughts before we release the people to go write their love poems?
Yes. Well, I will say that my husband walked in from work today, and I told him that, you know what? I wrote him a love poem. And so
Aw.
I do have a new poem that I just wrote, and it is about him. And typically, I don't really. I realized I didn't have any love poems, and yeah, and so he'll get to hear that poem tonight. And I love him. He does have this expression, his definition. You okay if I share
Yeah,
it?
go ahead.
He has his acronym of love is living out volatile expressions.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And it really helped to redefine defining love for me.
Yeah.
I love his definition, and he has so many poems. And just the other day, he shared several poems with me that I had never heard before as well about how he views love and marriage and things like that. And so you're right; it is absolutely a place of being able to listen, to observe, and to learn. About your partner. So if nothing else, be encouraged to do that. Listen, observe, learn, but most
Mhm.
importantly, just take in the moments of intimacy that it can bring.
And one other thing too. So one of the popular things with couples right now are these question cards, right?
Mhm.
So one of the things, if for those of you who like that, but are looking for something on the poetry or artistic side,
Mhm.
Pablo Neruda who's a very popular poet from Chile.
Mhm.
He actually has a book of poems called the Book of Questions,
Mhm.
and so it actually is a book and it's poems, but they're all in question forms.
Mhm.
So it becomes this great opportunity to have these deep conversations about life
Mhm.
based off these questions in this book. So if you're looking for something that's
Nice.
artistic and poetic, but that's also going to help facilitate some conversation between the two of you all, check out Pablo Neruda's The Book of Questions.
I love it. I love it. Well, I want to say thank you again, Walter and Charmaine, for being here. Always a pleasure. You can come every week if you want to. You really don't need an invitation at all. I want to say shout out to Nina. Hey, Nina. Thank you for watching.
Hey.
She said great session. We appreciate you, sis, for tuning in. And thank you all for tuning in. And for those of you who will catch the replay, we appreciate you so, so much. So you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care, and we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.